This is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
I have already
Yes, sir.
shared the note. Okay. I think we have already discussed this difference between diffraction and interference. Okay. We have started single slit diffraction pattern or not?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
No,
Not
sir.
started.
Only intro.
So from here we will start. Okay. I think we have already discussed what is the diffraction, how we classify the diffraction, what is the difference between diffraction and interference phenomena. And now we are going to start diffraction due to the single slit. Okay. So this is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we are going in your topic. We have two important topic. First is the diffraction due to the single slit. Means how we will observe the diffraction pattern if we are using a single slit as an obstacle. Okay. And now second is that we will discuss. Suppose that if we have a diffraction grating, then what will be the diffraction pattern? Okay. So you just here you will see this figure. This W prime is representing the waves which are coming from a source. This is a Fraunhofer class of diffraction. So we are using a lens L in between slit and screen to collect the ray emerging from the slit. So AB is the slit. Okay, AB is a slit, and the width of this slit is E. Okay, we are observing diffraction pattern on screen SS prime. So when since we already know that the diffraction will take place due to the superposition of secondary waves emerging from the primary wavefronts. So here you just see, since the width of the slit is E, so light will pass in between point A and B, and when we will collect through the lens L, some secondary wavelets will superimpose on each other on the center of this slit. P naught is representing the point, this is at the center. Means at point P, whatever the secondary wavelets are reaching, they are in phase. Okay. Since they are in phase, so what will be happen at point P, we will get the maximum intensity because all the secondary wavelets had the same phase difference or constant phase difference. At point P1, we don't know if there will be maximum intensity or minimum intensity. We will mathematically see what type of pattern we are getting. There is maximum intensity or minimum intensity. But at the center, we will get only the maximum intensity because all the secondary waves reaching at point P naught, they are have constant phase difference. So here you just see, since we are considering the point P1, so we will draw a perpendicular AC on the ray B to R to find out the path difference. Okay. So here we will find the path difference just like we have already find the path difference in Young's double slit experiment and Fresnel biprism experiment. So whatever here I have already mentioned that we have a narrow slit width and thickness of or width of the slit should be of the order of wavelength. What to observe the this is the condition of diffraction. Suppose if the width of the slit will be of the order of wavelength, then one less order of less, then only we can observe the diffraction phenomena. So narrow slit AB width E, we are considering that lambda is the wavelength of the monochromatic light. Okay. whatever we have explained, I have mentioned here, I have already sent this note to you. Okay. Here, just what is the theory? We have drawn the perpendicular AC on this side BR to find the path difference. So when we will find the path difference delta will be equal to AB sin theta. And since AB is equal to E, this is representing the width of the slit. So path difference is equal to E sin theta. And since we have already, we have find the path difference, so phase difference will be equal to twice pi by lambda into path difference. So this is twice pi by lambda into E sin theta. Okay. Now, second step, what we are doing, since the width of the slit is E, so we are dividing this slit width in n equal parts. Okay. We are dividing this slit width E in n equal parts. So width of one part will be equal to E by n. So from each part, a secondary wavelets will be emergent. Okay. By agar aap, if you will divide this AB into n equal parts, so from each part you will see that waves are emerging from each point. So it means there are n waves, and each wave are emerging from each part. So there will be n waves. So what we will do, and the amplitude of each wave emerging from each part is A. Amplitude is the constant. There are n waves because we are dividing the slit width into n equal parts. So path difference, phase difference between two consecutive parts will be equal to total phase difference divided by number of parts, twice pi by lambda sin theta by n, and this is equal to delta, and delta is representing the phase difference between two consecutive parts, and wave amplitude of the each wave emerging from each part is A. So we have amplitude, we have phase difference. Now we will calculate the resultant of this resultant of n waves. When they will superimpose on each other, what will be the resultant amplitude and resultant intensity? So to find the resultant amplitude, we will apply the vector addition method. Okay? We will apply the vector addition method. Just like suppose that this figure. Suppose that all waves are in have the phase difference 0. In that case, all waves will be moving in one direction. But here we are seeing that the phase difference between two consecutive parts is delta. So we will draw the vector addition method. I will show how we find. 1 minute, for 1 minute I am this one I am stopping, and I will show on the paper how we will find. So you just see. Yeah, you are seeing this paper?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तो देखो ये थोड़ा सा टिपिकल है आपके लिए कैसे हम ड्रा करते हैं. जैसे देखिए, we have here I have mentioned n equal parts. Okay, so n wave will be emerge from this part. Amplitude is A, phase difference is delta. So to find the resultant of n wave, what we will apply the vector addition method. So first we will draw first amplitude. This is this one. Now the phase difference between two consecutive parts is delta. So second wave will be like this one, and this is the delta. Again, phase difference between second and third is the delta. So we will get like this one. Okay, again this is delta. So we will draw n vectors like this one. Okay, so when we will draw n vectors like this one, so we will find the resultant. To find the resultant of any two vectors, you know, we will we will connect tail of first to the arrow head of head of last. So this will be the resultant amplitude. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by using this vector addition method, we will find the resultant amplitude of these n superimposing waves, and this is equal to this is equal to here. You just see whatever I have drawn on paper. This is like this one. This is the whole figure. So when we'll find the resultant, this is equal to R. R is equal to A sine n delta by 2 divided by sine delta by 2. This is the resultant amplitude of n waves. Okay. So यहाँ पे हमने डायरेक्ट रिजल्ट लिखा है, चूंकि इसको लिखने का तरीका ये है कि पहले आप पहले का वेव इक्वेशन लिखिए, फिर सेकंड का वेव इक्वेशन लाइक n, then you will apply the progression, and then you will find the solution. So from that, here you will find that the resultant amplitude is equal to R A sine n delta by 2 divided by sine delta by 2, and this is the resultant amplitude. Now since we know delta is equal to आपका, we have already considered this is twice pi e sine theta upon n lambda. So when we will substitute the value of delta in equation 2, we will find that resultant amplitude R is equal to A sine pi by lambda e sine theta divided by sine n pi by lambda e sine theta. Here we have considered pi by lambda e sine theta is equal to alpha, a new term. So this equation reduces to A sine alpha by n. Okay. Now you know that the alpha by n will be very very small. इसलिए ये small होगा because we are considering theta. So slit width will also be of the order of, so alpha by n will be small, and since alpha by n will be small, it means sine theta will be equal to theta. By using that identity, we will find R is equal to n A sine alpha by alpha. A is the amplitude of wave emerging from one part, and when we will multiply with n, we will get the amplitude of the total resultant wave. This is A, n into A. I have written here A sine alpha by alpha. This is equation 6, is representing the resultant amplitude of n secondary waves emerging from n equal parts of the single slit. Since intensity here, there is a mistake. This is I, not I square. So I will be equal to R square, and by using this one, A square sine square alpha by alpha square. So this is the intensity formula. What will be the intensity of the resultant n wave? Why we are discussing single slit? We are going to observe how, suppose that if we are performing an experiment based on the single slit, so we will get the diffraction pattern. So what will be the diffraction pattern in the case, जैसे आपको Newton's ring experiment आपने किया, theory पढ़ा. In the Newton's ring, you will get the bright and dark circular rings. In Fresnel biprism, you know that you will get the straight light fringes, bright and dark straight light fringes. Similarly, in the single slit diffraction phenomena, we will see what nature of pattern we are getting. So to find the nature of the pattern, we will consider equation 7. So देखो क्या होगा, since we know that at the center we are getting the maxima, maximum intensity, and rest other we will observe minima and other type of maxima. I will explain in the next slide. So whatever the we are getting at the center, that maxima is called the principal maxima, and principal maxima have the maximum intensity. Okay, so to find how we'll find the position, we will consider equation 7. Now we'll see the equation 7. A is constant, right hand side A is constant. When intensity will be maximum? Only when alpha is equal to 0. When alpha will be equal to 0, in that case we will get the maximum intensity. So alpha is equal to 0 will give the position of principal maxima, and since alpha is equal to pi by lambda e sin theta, so from here you will see sin theta is equal to 0, theta is equal to 0. It means at point P naught, the value of theta will be equal to 0. Means the secondary wave reaching at point P, they have the zero phase difference. It means they have the they are in phase. So here we will get position of the principal maxima. So principal maxima will be of maximum intensity, and this will be find alpha and theta will be equal to 0. Now in addition to principal maxima, what will be the intensity? So to find the intensity of principal maximum from equation 7, we will apply the limit. So R maximum will be limit alpha tends to 0, A sin alpha by alpha, and from this one this one sin alpha by alpha, and this limit alpha tends to 0 sin alpha by alpha आपको 1 होता है, you know. So from there maximum amplitude will be equal to A, and intensity, this is I, not I square, this is I. So maximum intensity of the principal maxima, I maximum is representing the intensity of the principal maxima, and this is equal to the A square. Okay, and A is the resultant amplitude of the waves. Second pattern we will get, that is called the minima position. I will show figure. So to find the position of minima from equation 7, or from equation 7, alpha equal to 0 representing the position of principal maxima, A is constant, so there is only one term which will give the position of the minima, and that is equal to sin alpha, and sin alpha is equal to 0. In that case we will get the minima. Okay, so we will put the value sin alpha is equal to 0, and from here when we will apply the trigonometric identity, we will get that alpha is equal to plus minus pi, plus minus 2 pi, plus minus, it means integral multiple of pi. We will not consider 0 here. Why? Because when we will consider the 0, it means it will represent the position of principal maxima. So this alpha, we should take value from plus minus 1 to plus minus n. And when we will put this equation in the alpha is equal to this one, pi by lambda e sin theta, this is equal to e sin theta plus minus n lambda. And this is clear? हेलो, हो गए क्या तुम लोग?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, now in we have already find two pattern, maximum intensity, minimum intensity. But in the diffraction phenomena, we will get a secondary maxima. The intensity of secondary maxima will be less than principal maxima. So to find the position and intensity of the secondary maxima, we will differentiate this intensity equation. with respect to alpha and equate it equal to 0. So when we will differentiate, we will get di upon d alpha. We are integrating and equating equal to 0, differentiating and equating equal to 0. So from here we will get this term. Now we will see 2 is the constant, a is the constant, sin alpha by alpha, sin alpha is equal to 0, minimum position, alpha is equal to 0, principal maximum position. Only this term is left which will be equal to 0. Okay, and when we will solve this, we will get the position of the secondary maximum. So alpha cos alpha minus sin alpha will be equal to 0. And from this equation, we are getting that alpha is equal to tan alpha. And when we will solve this equation 9, we will find the position of the secondary maximum. So how we can solve this equation 9? So to solve this equation, we will apply the graphical method. We will consider that alpha is equal to tan alpha, this is equal to y. So y is equal to alpha will be one equation and y is equal to tan alpha will be the second equation. We will draw the graph of these two on, we will plot these two equations on the same graph. Okay. And the intersection points of these two plots will represent the position of the secondary maximum. Now, y is equal to alpha is a straight line with slope 45 degree. You know very well. Straight line equation पढ़ा है ना आपने?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So y is equal to alpha is a straight line. You are seeing this star straight line. Stars are marked here. So this is the line which are passing through the origin and slope is 45 degree. Y is equal to tan alpha आपने plot किया होगा. So this plot have the asymptotic nature. You just see whatever curved line you are seeing. This is the y equal to tan alpha plot. So the intersection point of this y equal to alpha and y equal to tan alpha is giving the position of the secondary maximum. So from this graph, we will find alpha is equal to 0, plus minus 3 pi by 2, plus minus 5 by 2, and so on. Alpha is equal to 0, you will give the position of the principal maxima. So we are not considering 0 here. Only plus minus 3 pi by 2, plus minus 5 by 2, plus minus 7 pi by 2, and so on will give the position of the secondary maximum. Now when we will put this value of alpha to find the intensity in equation 7, we have calculated the intensity of some secondary maxima here. I1 is the first secondary maxima, which intensity is a square upon 22. I2 is representing the intensity of the second secondary maxima, which intensity is a square upon 62. Similarly, I3 is equal to a square upon 125. So you are just seeing that the intensity of the secondary maxima is going to decreasing as we are going away from the principal maxima. Means intensity is going to be diminishing. So when we will see the pattern, you just see this is the intensity distribution graph. When we will perform the experiment, we will get the nature like this one. So on x-axis, I have plotted alpha. On y-axis, this is the intensity. अब देखो ग्राफ को समझो. At the center O, you know, you will get the principal maxima which have the maximum intensity. Now at alpha is equal to plus minus pi, you remember, plus minus pi, plus minus 2 pi, plus minus n pi, you are getting the minimum. So you just see in the graph at position pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, minus pi, minus 2 pi, minus 3 pi, you are getting the minimum intensity. And in between minima, you will get the secondary maxima. that is plus minus 3 pi by 2, plus minus 5 by 2, plus minus 7 pi by 2, and so on both sides of the principal maxima. So whatever you are seeing a square upon 22, a square upon, these are representing the secondary maxima which are being observed in between two minima. So this is the diffraction pattern due to the single slit. Okay. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
समझ में आया।
now we are going, मैं आगे थोड़ा पढ़ा रहा हूँ, तेज पढ़ाऊंगा क्योंकि सिलेबस खत्म करना है. Now we are going to, this is the whatever result we are getting, we are going to apply this result to the diffraction due to the N slit, means for the diffraction grating. So here we are going to discuss the theory of the diffraction. हमने already notes भेज दिया है सारे, हम यहाँ explain कर रहे हैं, we will go through the notes. Okay. So first thing, what is the grating? So grating is the arrangement of n parallel slits having same width and separated by the same equal opaque distances. Just like suppose that if you want to draw the grating on a plain simple glass plate, so what we will do, we will take the diamond cutter, and by using diamond cutter you will draw you will cut n parallel, you will draw n parallel lines on that glass plate of equal width. Okay. So when we will draw n parallel, n are जो भी आपको draw करना है, here I am giving the example of n. So when you will draw n parallel lines on the glass plate of equal width, so you will see there will be two parts. One part will be the transparent and the second part will be the opaque. जो आपने line draw किया है, that will not pass the light. So that part is called the opaque part. So this is there will this whole arrangement is the n slits. It means this is a diffraction grating, and the width of opaque and transparent part and width of opaque part, when we will sum, that is called the grating element. So here we are going to discuss, okay, suppose that in place of single slit, if we are using n slits or we are using a diffraction grating, what will be the difference in the diffraction pattern? Okay. So you will see this figure. We have used the same figure, whatever I have discussed in the single slit. Only difference is that we are getting n equal, we are using n slits of equal width. So you will just see there is a dotted line AB. This AB is representing the n slits of equal width. So whatever the dots you are seeing, vertical dots, this is a opaque part. This is not passing the light. But between two opaque parts, you are seeing a transparent part that is passing the light. So it means there here we are using n slits of, and we are considering that the width of each slit is E and width of opaque part is D. So E plus D. E is the width of the transparent part and D is the width of the opaque part. So E plus D is called the grating element. Okay. Now suppose that here we are using n slits. So from each slit one wave will be emerges. So total n number of waves will be emerging from the n slits. And all these n wave is reaching at point P0 and P1. So at point P0 we are getting the maximum intensity. For region is same as we have discussed in the single slit. At P1 we are going to calculate at P1, this will be minimum or maximum. Okay, we will apply the same theory. Only here we are considering, we are going to use the result of single slit in this n slit experiment. So just like see that here, जैसे आपको single slit में मैंने बताया कि from a single slit, when we will divide in n equal parts, n waves are emerging. So we have find the resultant of the n wave emerging from the single slit. So here we are using n slits. It means the result of the single slit will be used for a single all points in a slit along their direction are equivalent to a single wave of amplitude a sine alpha by alpha. Now, whatever the resultant amplitude we have got in the case of single slit, we are using the amplitude here. So, from each slit, the ray emerging that have the amplitude a sine alpha by alpha. So in the grating experiment or in n slit experiment, we have n wave which amplitude are a sine alpha by alpha. Okay, and alpha की value we have already considered. This is pi by lambda e sine theta. So now we are going to find the resultant of n wave having amplitude a sine alpha by alpha. So when we are here, since there are n slits, so we have n diffracted wave, and this n diffracted wave had the amplitude a sine alpha by alpha. So path difference between two consecutive slits will be equal to E plus D sine theta. In the case of single slit, we have find E sine theta. Since here opaque part is also being considered, so this will be E plus D sine theta. So by using this one, phase difference will be, again we will calculate, and here phase difference will be equal to twice pi by lambda E plus D sine theta. Here I have considered pi by lambda E plus D sine theta equal to beta. So delta equal to 2 beta. So now just see, we have n diffracted wave of amplitude a sine alpha by alpha having phase difference of delta. Delta means 2 beta. So these n diffracted wave will superimpose on each other. In that case, resultant amplitude will be equal to here at point P1 we will get R is equal to a sine alpha by alpha sine n beta by sine beta. Okay, this is the resultant amplitude of n diffracted wave having amplitude a sine alpha by alpha and phase difference of 2 beta, and these resultant is at point P1. So from here intensity will be equal to I equal to R square. This is a sine alpha by alpha whole square sine square n beta by sine square beta. देखो इक्वेशन 2 हमने डायरेक्टली लिखा है. If you want to how these steps have been written here, you will go through the book. You will see in each book, whatever the book you have, this is very easily explained. They have the some trigonometric equations and they have solved. So from equation now we are going equation 3 to find the position of principal maximum. Position. I am audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Audible, sir.
So we will use intensity equation to find the position of principal maxima, minima, secondary maxima. We will discuss here. So देखो यहाँ पे दो टर्म है. एक टर्म है a sin alpha by alpha whole square and second term is the sin square n beta by sin square beta. So first first term means A sin alpha by alpha whole square is representing distribution of intensity due to the single slit. If you remember, these equations we have already derived in the single slit phenomena. Second term sin square n beta by sin square beta is the distribution of intensity as a combined effect of all the n slits. Okay, so first term will not play any role in the formation of diffraction pattern in the case of grating. Only we will consider this second term because this is the combined effect due to the n slits. So in intensity equation we will consider this second. So suppose that I will be maximum only when we are not going to consider this first term. So only when beta is equal to sin beta is equal to 0. When sin beta is equal to 0, in that case I will be maximum. So when we will consider sin beta is equal to 0, it means beta is equal to plus minus n pi, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2 and so on. Okay. And we know that beta is equal to pi by lambda e plus d sin theta. From here we will find e plus d sin theta is equal to plus minus n lambda. And this equation 4 is called the grating equation. You should remember. This equation 4 is called the grating equation. Okay. So you just see here we have find that beta is equal to 0, beta is equal to plus minus n pi. And this plus minus n pi will give the position of the maxima, principal maxima. It means in the case of diffraction grating, we will observe more than one principal maxima. N is equal to 0 is called 0 order maxima. N is equal to 1 is called first order principal maxima. N is equal to 2 is called the second order principal maxima. And this first order, second order, third order principal maxima will be observed on both sides of the 0 order maxima. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So what will be the minima position? So now minima will be possible only when sin n beta is equal to 0. Okay, so sin n beta is equal to 0, it means n beta is equal to plus minus m pi. M will be integer except some value. What values we will omit, I am explaining. So we will put the value of beta n pi by lambda e plus d sin theta is equal to plus minus m pi. So n e plus d sin theta is equal to plus minus m lambda. This is the minima condition. Now you will see if you are considering m is equal to 0. Okay. So when we will take the value m is equal to 0, it means you are getting the 0 order maxima. So we will not consider m is equal to 0. Now just suppose that if we are considering m is equal to n, in that case you will get e plus d sin theta is equal to plus minus lambda. It means you are getting first order principal maxima. Similarly, suppose that if we are considering m is equal to 2n, we will get the second order principal maxima. And if you are considering nn, so we are observing the nth order principal maxima. Okay, so we will not consider this value m is equal to 0, m is equal to n, m is equal to 2n, m is equal to nn. We are not going to consider this value because when we will consider this value, we will get the position of the 0 order, first order, second order, nth order principal maxima. It means m will be 1, 2, 3, n minus 1, n plus 1, twice n minus 1, twice n plus 1 and so on will be the value of m. And this value of m will represent the position of minima. Okay. So here I have already written in this question 7, sorry, question 6. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I am stopping here, and there are some small topics and we will discuss on the Monday class. Okay? And I have already sent to you the notes, so you will go through the notes and see. And if you have any problem, you can ask me. Okay?
Okay, fine.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
sir.
you. Send me, yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
send me the attendance.
Sir, can you again tell syllabus of MCQ?
MCQ जहां तक पढ़ा दिया जाएगा उससे पहले सारा आएगा, फर्स्ट यूनिट, सेकंड यूनिट.
Okay, sir.
Okay, first unit and second unit. Okay, send me the attendance.
Sir,
Okay, sir.
sir,
Yeah,
sir, will you give numerical in MCQ also?
yeah. There will be theoretical as well as numerical problems. This is the reason why I am saying you just go through the book and try to solve some numericals.